going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. I really do hope you're well. Today I wanted to just reference a little point from a couple of comments again that I've had on some of the previous videos regarding questing. It seems that a lot of people are coming from different MMOs and they're not really sure whether they should just stick to the main quests or whether they should actually venture off into the side quests. Are they worth doing? What are the rewards? And so on and so forth. And whilst I'll be brutally honest with you, I'm not going to know the ins and outs of the rewards in each specific location. The information that I'm here to tell you today is that categorically, Lord of the Rings Online has a side quest system which is pretty much, in my opinion, unlike any other MMO out there. It really is. Most MMOs, for the most part, yes, you could argue there's some story elements in some of the big titans, the big ones, but for the most part, many MMOs, they put side quests in just to pad the game out. No real other reason, couple of XP rewards, maybe it unlocks another quest, or cosmetic items. Lord of the Rings Online does something very, very well. In most of the hub areas, so you'll see here in one of the many, many maps of the game, you'll see that there are various different areas, many of which have stable masters that you can travel to, and many of these will become quest hubs. You can see I've got a couple here. Now typically when you venture to somewhere for the first time, you'll have normally an epic quest, so which is one of the fiery ring quests, and you'll have probably 6 or 7 of these more sort of gold ring quests that you can see here. Do not be afraid to take your time. Take your time, speak to absolutely everyone. If you are playing this game, then I guarantee you it's probably because you've been recommended it because you like the books, the films, you perhaps just want a slower paced MMO. You need to take your time. These quests have so much more to them than just go here and pick this up. A lot of the NPCs you'll meet have fully fleshed out backstories, fully fleshed out relationships with each other, and you actually get to know the quirks, the character tropes of a lot of the people around you, and it really does help you in your own mind, immersion wise, flesh out your experience. One of the main points for me that I noticed straight away when I started here, so I'm playing my Lore Master right now on the Legendary server, and you'll get to learn depending on where you start and where you are, but for me, the first time you stumble across Glyn Helleg, I won't spoil it for you guys that have played it, but again, I wouldn't have known this if you hadn't have gone through and done the side quests. There are some interesting characters there. You've got a certain member of the town that, you know, is high up in that area, who doesn't do a lot for his position, but he likes to take all the glory, and many of the townsfolk actually look down on him and really despise him, but you wouldn't know that interwoven relationship unless you actually dug into it. You can, I guess, learn something as serious as that, or you could even just stumble across a mother that wants help finding her 5 children that have just scattered about the place. I guess the opportunity is yours. The way that Stand & Stone Games weave the story and mystery into the side quests of this game is breathtaking. To the point where, I guess it's not spoilers because this game's been out for ages, but there's a couple of side quests that convince you that there's a floating city or a floating town. And when you actually dive into it, that's really, really not the case at all. It's all hearsay through passers-by and travelers and village folk. And it's really, really interesting. One of those moments that you sit back and you think, wow, that's super tongue-in-cheek for not just an MMO, but a game of this age as well. There are some really, really heartfelt moments, particularly some of my fondest moments in the Shire, where you've got a certain individual who has a doting crush on this other female hobbit, and she rejects him and rejects him and rejects him, and little by little, with his persistence, he just wears her down over time. And in the end, she's like, "Oh, go on then, fuck it. We may as well, we may as well go on a date." And I guess it sounds silly, right? Because if you're a really serious person and you just wanna quest, you know, I want to get to Mordor, throw that fucking ring in Mount Doom. That's it. I'm out, right? I get it. I get this might seem like silly stuff, but I promise you, with Lord of the Rings Online being more about the journey, really, as much as there are elements of the end game, of course, but it is the broader spectrum is the journey. if you want to take your time and you want to fully take this game in, then please spend a bit of time, walk around these quest hubs, walk around this world that's been intricately woven for you, speak to the individual people that have had their backstories, albeit some are larger and smaller, but they've all been handcrafted, they've all been selected a certain placement, a certain time and placement in the history of Middle-earth, and it's really interesting. And there is, of course, like, in terms of voice acting, I guess that puts a lot of people off. You only get kind of minor lines of voicing with the side quest stuff. But if you're quite happy to just sit back with a cup of tea or coffee or a beer, read some of the quest text, get to learn some of the characters, and I promise you, you'll pass some of these areas back in the later game and you'll go, oh, I remember when I did this, and I remember when I did that, and I've got fond memories of doing this. And at the absolute very least, you'll get some really cool cosmetic items from it as well. You'll get items that, you know, you can then change up your wardrobe with that you otherwise wouldn't have access to. So yeah, take it from me. Again, I don't want this video to be like super rambly, but really do take the take what's going on around you, because you've got so much. You know, like, I mean, this is just one section. This is just Swanfleet. You know, I mean, you start off here in Clegger here, and you know, you're doing quests for everyone, whether it's fixing door hinges or trying to stop the local children from getting into trouble with Uruks, and there's just so much going on. And I don't think I've personally paid as much attention to my surroundings and NPCs and side quests as I have done with this game. For the most part, especially Final Fantasy XIV, whenever there's been a side quest, I've been like, I'm not interested. Because A, the experience rewards weren't really enough, and B, the story, yeah, some quests are okay and they're kind of like a bit like backstory-ish, but for the most part I was like, I'm not interested in that. But really, honestly, give it a go. Some quests, they really are like, you just go from A to B. The actual concept of the quest is go from A to B, collect this, kill this, inspect this, but some of them are really interesting, from, you know, inspecting warg tracks to going out into the swamps to find out what like mysterious disturbances there are. It leads you into all sorts of mystical places, and places that are otherwise off the beaten path that you wouldn't even think to go to. So yeah, I hope that kind of answers some of the questions in the comments. Keep them coming in, by the way, because I really enjoy interacting with you guys. You guys seem to enjoy the Lotro content. Lotro is a game that is probably the fondest in my heart. It's a game that I just can't let go of. It's got a real hold on me. So yeah, if you guys want to see more of this, let me know. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.